Hey team, welcome back to it. Wait, I forgot to put lip gloss on. One sec. Hey team, welcome back to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area and I went to college in Michigan. Hey, how y'all doing? It's been a minute. I took last week off. Last week was the first week that I took off since I started posting the podcast again. Crazy, super proud of me. I had been so consistent. I was a little disappointed in myself, but like this week was just like a bad mental health week for me. I don't know. I don't know. I had to talk about some really like heavy stuff last weekend and like stuff that deeply affected me for like many years, and still sort of affects me, and like they are things that I'm happy to talk about with like the people that I love and working through the things that need to be worked through in order for me and the people that I love to have a good relationship. But nonetheless, it is just like so exhausting, to have those conversations, like the level of intimacy that I bring to any of my relationships, regardless if they're platonic or not, like is just it can be grueling because like as a complexly traumatized person, and like many if not all of my friends, like we all also come from complex trauma, so trying to navigate that stuff together while also having been through things together is hard, like friendship, intimacy, like just intimacy in general is just so complex, and everyone views it differently. Everyone wants different things out of their relationships to people. And so like bridging that gap between two different human beings is like it can be very daunting and hard, So yeah, I was just really babbling about shit for like 3 minutes straight. I don't even think I took a breath, dude. Um, it was just like a heavy week, coming off of that. And then, like, also, in addition to that, like, I also drove like 20 hours over the weekend, So summer is like very busy. And I love being busy. Like, it is not a complaint whatsoever that I am so busy. But, and I'm tired. It's not but, it's and. I'm very busy and I'm tired. Both are true, and I'm super happy to be busy. Um, but yeah, I'm starting to get a little burnt out. And so I took the week off. Hey, a bitch needed a week off. That's okay. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I took some time. I didn't run for until yesterday, which today's currently Friday. And I didn't run until yesterday, which I took like 4 days off. And if you jog or like anything like that, you know that like you can lose a lot of momentum in 4 days. Not that it really fucking matters. I signed up for a 10. I told you guys, I think I signed up for a 10K in October. And so I've been slowly training for that. But I just want to complete it. So like I don't really have any expectations of myself, like time wise or whatever. But I just want to get the bitch done. You know what I mean? So I think I'll be able to at least do that. Um, and I don't know, I'm excited. It's fun to have like a physical goal. I met with my old mentor today, like the mentor I had at my first job, and he and I are still very close. I like adore him. I want him to come on the pod someday, but like it is such like an intimate relationship to me that I don't know, I'd feel weird with him coming to the apartment and like I would have to do it in a public I just like respect him so much that I would like never want him in here. I just like I really think the world of him, and we were talking today, and we were discussing how like what was my train of thought, y'all? What the fuck was I? Oh, we're talking about this is the first time that I've had a physical goal, and I don't know how long. Like when I was an athlete, obviously like your physical goal was to be like the best softball player, the best basketball player, the best volleyball player that you can be. But I since I abruptly quit sports at the end of high school, I haven't really had physical goals since then. I think I like resented that so much. So like building up my like willpower and like the discipline to get back into it has been really fun to like challenge myself. Dante's trying to get up here, but he has a Chewy. It's like, dude, you're gonna ruin the audio. He's like, you do not usually record here, so like all the technology around is weird. Anyway, yeah, new location unlocked. We're because I had such a bad mental health week, like the thought of being anywhere but my bed today, other than when I was working and jogging, actually makes me want to throw up a little bit. If you know me, like when you can tell how I'm doing based on how much I'm in my bed. Like, if I'm spending more than like my time sleeping in bed, basically, like if I'm reading before bed, I'll sleep or I'll like sit here. But like if I'm in bed any more than that, any more than like nighttime, you should be like, you should check in. Cause like I'm, I have ADHD, you know, you can tell my mental clarity based on how my physical body's reacting. I've come to realize like if I'm up and around, like I feel pretty good mentally. And that's why staying active has been like a really helpful tool for my mental health in the last year or so, that I've been trying to focus on being physical. But yeah, I don't know. Week was rough. I was exhausted on Monday, like such a crab ass bitch. Like, oh my god, I was so crabby. Um, but I like, I don't know. I really took Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to like, because I've been traveling so much, to like do my laundry, to do my dishes, to grocery shop, to like prepare for my next trip, which is tomorrow. Um, I'm just going. I have plans with some friends, some of my besties. So we'll see. I'm super excited. And yeah. So also, I've been dealing with like a lot of my family stuff because obviously, like whenever I see these people, they're like, you know, have you talked to your family? And I'm like, no, thanks for asking. And I've recorded episodes about my family situation and just like not uploaded them because like ultimately it is very hard to talk about family stuff online. And like especially because you know that likely they're gonna see it. Dante, come here. You can come up here. I can't play like right now. So I don't know. That's been, it's hard. It's hard to, much of my life has been reliant on keeping secrets in our family or for our family, and like on behalf of my family. And that's, I still find myself sitting there, but like, hey, you can't step on the computer. You can come sit. It can be really hard to unlearn that silence oftentimes only benefits those who are doing uncool shit, right? And like, I here's the tea, right? Is like both of my parents have done Part of why it's so hard for me to figure out is because like I know that I have not been a perfect kid by any means, right? Like in theory, there are lots of reasons why both of my parents resent me in various ways. And like some are my fault and some aren't, point blank, right? And same with my resentments towards them. Many of them are their fault, you know. But some of them are just like it is their fault. Most of it's their fault because like they didn't heal their shit before having kids and like um then just like passed it on to me. However, both of my parents did, oh, and we talked about this before, leaps and bounds better than their parents did. And so, something that as we've been learning about history, as been learning about like sociology, psychology, whatever, throughout the weeks of like various things, whether it be like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark or whatever. I don't know why that popped in my head, but like we've been discussing sociology in a lot of ways throughout the weeks. And like with that and with like the help of my therapist and like whatever, um I know that wellness, mental health, etc., those things are generational just like anything else is. And so in a lot of ways my parents put a lot of the legwork in so that I can be leaps and bounds mentally weller, more well than them. And like so, while they may resent me for being better in various ways, whether it be conscious or unconscious, um, I do, realize and then like know that eventually I'll have to cut them some slack because of that, because like there's only so much they could do with their trauma. So yeah, I don't know. And there's limits to what I'll be able to do because of my trauma, and my kids, if I were to ever have them, um would think that I'm a pussy ass bitch because their limits are different than mine because society and culture and whatever will have changed significantly by the time that they're my age or sentient enough to resent me. you know so like I don't know, I've been battling with that a lot lately. And I've been a lot of what lies in between me and kindling any of those relationships right now is one, I know that I'm not like firm enough in myself to hear the things that the off color shit that they'll have to say, regardless if it's a conscious off color remark or not. Um, and me not being like, shut your fucking mouth. And that's like the dead ass truth of it, of like, I'm still very angry. And actually, part of it is I'm scared that I won't do that. Also, I'm scared that I'm not firm enough in myself that I would be like, shut your fucking mouth. Because in theory, standing up for myself, that it doesn't have to look like that exactly, but like what I'm truly scared of is me not sticking up for myself, and like just returning back to the old patterns that may of my family dynamic that make me absolutely fucking miserable, and make me hate and resent my family enough to where I don't want to talk to them for nearly a year. Like I will never be able to return to the same family dynamic happily. And like, if those expectations are on me, or I feel like those expectations are placed on me regardless of who they're placed by, because in a lot of ways those expectations in part will have been made by me, implicitly. Like, I already think that that's what's expected of me, so it's hard for me to unlearn that too. um so I don't know, it's like, I guess exposure therapy would like be decent, but like I'm not there yet, like, as it turns out, you know and I don't know when I'll be there. um my brother like did have like a medical thing pop up, and like I did reach out to him to be like, hey, are you good? And like once I found out that he was good, I was like, okay, T, like, I care about him. And like I've said countless times before, like I would choose my brother over anyone of my other family blood relatives. And so like it's easiest for me to be cool talking to him. But like I don't really got shit to say right now that's gonna be like useful in any way, you know? So I don't know. It's weird. It's all heavy. It's all like me trying to figure it all out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's what I've been dealing with this week. How about y'all? So my in therapy this week we discussed um like the greatest love that I've had so far. And like I don't think I really ever, because I've had so much other shit to unpack first, like because it was a relatively good experience, like he's the last person I really needed to unpack, like, so it hasn't really come up until this week. um but we did. And so I my assignment for this week is to like create a list of my future partner. Um and we've talked about it, like I've already started that sort of list, but she wants me to like really expand on it. And then like we're going to discuss how to present myself in a way that allows that partner to come into my world view or whatever, right? And I'm excited about that because we made like a breakthrough of like I think because I have always been so, one, uncomfortable with romantic intimacy, two, like just so put off by the idea of romantic intimacy because my examples of them were pitiful, and like I never in a million years would want a marriage like the one that I saw growing up. And so I thought that that's what all love was like. And I was like, literally at the ripe age of 12, I was like, well, if this is what love is, bitch, count me out. You know what I mean? Like I was so anti love for a really long, however, and I still hold this contradiction, that like I so desperately want somebody to choose me in that way, but the idea itself scares me so much that I don't even open myself up to being vulnerable enough to let anyone else in that way. So like I resent them for even trying, sort of, because I think it's all like manipulation and ploy. And a lot of that's trauma. A lot of that is like most of the people I interacted with growing up, whether they be my family, friends, etc., they only asked me questions to get information out of me. So then it could then be used against me someday. And I hold that shit too. Like, I like that's why I'm working on communicating my anger to people as soon as it happens so that I don't like do that. where I'm like, well, you've done this, this, and this, and therefore you're terrible. Like, to put into context what I've been through this last year, like 2 or 3 days before Christmas, I got in the mail from my mother a letter, like a 2 or 3 page letter outlining every single thing that she's ever done for me since I was 12. And it's disappointing that she's watched me battle with not talking to my father for nearly 10 years, if not 10 years, and criticized him on the way that he handles it and then did that, you know? It's just, you know? And that's like, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? And I love her. And I know that that comes from like an extreme place of hurt. And a lot of that is rightfully so. Whether it be hurt from me or hurt just about her life's situation. There's certainly a lot of reason for her to feel pain. However, I just have exited being the punching bag, you know? The like Fortune Feimster came out with like a new comedy special. She might have like a third one out now. I haven't had Netflix for like almost a year, I think. But she has Sweet and Salty, and then she came out with a second one. And during that, she has a bit about how when her parents got divorced, she became her mom's husband. And that was the first time I'd ever heard it said that way. Um, but in a lot of ways, I became my mother's protector. I became my mother's confidant. I became my mom's partner in life. Like I was helping make very adult decisions at a very young age, and I was talking through them. And in a lot of ways it has made me a really good engineer. It's made me like I'm really good at like conflict resolution. Like there is a million reasons why those things have benefited me in my adult life. However, it leads me to be a very burnt out adult. And it leads me to, like, I don't know, not really be well adjusted and have um stuffed animals all over my room at 26, because like I have not felt the comfort of existing since I was the innocence of a child. You know what I mean? Like, and like by child, I mean 4 or 5. I knew I was in an abusive household by the time I was 6. Like, and I probably knew before that. I came into sentience very early on because I had to, because I was like, because the household was so chaotic. So I don't know, man. It's rough. It's fucking rough. Yeah. Part of it for me too is like the ego of it all. Of like, I don't want to talk to them because I don't want to have to like I feel as though the expectation is that I'm going to come back into their lives like tail between my legs, like ready to accept defeat, you know? Unfortunately, one, I'm doing well for myself. So like there's nothing to be defeated about. And then also like in relation, so in my opinion, if you were to compare the wrongs of me to my parents compared to the wrongs of them to me, it would be very disproportionate. And like, of course, right? Like they're in a position of power over me. Like, of course, they're going to do more wrong shit. But like, I just don't understand the thought process behind like that, I guess. Like your adult child, now that they don't need you, doesn't want to have a relationship with you. Um and like now that they're not dependent on you and your help. And like yes, like my mother helped me through all the way through college. We took out the same amount of loans for me to go to college. Um, and I, of course, for her parents didn't pay for her college. She got married to an abusive man to get her college paid for. So, like, and that, like, rightfully so, as a woman, those are the options that you had back then. Like, that's no tea, no shade. That is like, in her head, she's probably like, why didn't you go off and get a husband to get your shit paid for? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't you in your bag, bitch? You know, like, and as she should probably. Like, the tea is like, there's plenty of reason for my mother to resent me in relation to her ideas about the world, because her ideas about the world are very close-minded and very narrow and based on her very very limited experience in the world. And so it sucks, dude. It totally sucks, cuz like the episode about my dad is like, fuck that bitch. You know, like it's very easy to, and like I think part of the reason why I'm so hard on my mom is because patriarchy is so ingrained in me, where I'm like, why is it right now that I'm more angry at her than I am at my dad? Why am I more angry at her right now that she didn't walk away from him than I am at him for abusing us? You know, like, because as a woman I expect more from her, and that's fucked up because she got abused. You know what I mean? Like it sucks. It totally sucks to be like a child of a very abusive household. Like, because in a lot of ways, like for my mom to feel control of her life, in a lot of ways she had to treat me the way that my dad treated her. And like that's not, it's very it's to a much less extent, but like there was emotional like dependency. There was all sorts of like things that happened to me because of my mom being unstable. And that, like, I don't mean unstable in like she was drove to craziness in a lot of ways. Like, and because of that, then afterwards, like she was very closed off, and like I had to like demand us to all hug each, like there was just like there's a lot of stuff that it's rough. It's all very rough. And it's hard to forgive those things on both sides, I'm sure. Um I love my mom very dearly, and it sucks to have to learn that, like, because the most for most of my life my mom was the most important relationship in my life over the relationship that I had with myself. And because of that, I put all of her wants, all of her expectations of me, anything that I thought would make her think that I was doing the right thing, I was willing to do. Um, and like something else that I've learned in therapy here lately is that, you know, a lot of the times your parents are going to give you advice, right? But the advice that they give you lots of times is based on their perspective of the world. And like in many ways, at least me, I like, this sounds arrogant. Babe, I don't want their lives. I don't want them. And so, and so like I'm not going to take into consideration somebody's opinions of somebody of someone's life that I don't fucking want. It's really rough. Being friends with moms has changed my perspective a lot cuz I'm like, well, like I would never expect my mom friends to be perfect the way that I'm expecting my mom to be perfect. And so that helps too. I'm just like, I'm dealing with all sorts of unlearning what's valid, what's not valid, what's unrealistic, what's realistic, that sort of thing. And it's hard. It's hard to figure out. And I'm already working on it in small ways, like by reestablishing friendships with people who have deeply hurt me, and incrementally trying to trust them again. And like that has helped to like have exposure therapy in those ways where I'm working on relationships with people. It's all related, of something that I'm really working on is working through conflict as opposed to just cutting off, because regardless if I cut them off or not, the people that I love dearly, I'm gonna love dearly no matter what. And so I might as well continue to talk to them. I might as well talk through the conflict if I'm going to continue to think about them. The problem is like there are people that I don't think about anymore who like will try to come back into my life, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like that's not, you're not one of them, unfortunately, but like the people who wake up and like, because oftentimes even when I do the cutting off, there are perfectly meritable or whatever reasons to do the cutoff or whatever. However, instead of making it just this like finalized decision where they don't even have like a say, is sort of crazy because like relationships are two people. And that's something, that I'm working on. It's fucking hard, but I'm working on it, you know? And I'm entirely grateful to the people who like allow me to work on it with them. I think that they help me grow. I think that hopefully I help them grow. I think that's the point of relationships with people. Not the full point, but like for people like me and many of my friends, we come from dysfunctional households. I think that is sort of the red string that keeps me and many of my friends, not the only red string, but it's a commonality that we all share, many of us share, because we look at friends as family, because many of us don't feel familial with our blood relatives. And so when I truly let someone in that way, where I integrate you into my community of people, where like I have meticulously throughout the years combed through people, this sounds crazy, where I've meticulously like brought together a community of people who make me feel like I'm a part of a family. It's devastating for me to take a loss like that in any way, whether it be platonic, romance, it doesn't matter. Like if we were only friends for 6 months, it does, like if I felt that familial bond towards you, it is extremely hard for me to move forward from that, and all it takes is somebody to be like, "Hey, I'm ready to work through this." Um because like I, as cunty and bitchy as I am, like I almost always leave it open to be like, "Hey, if you ever come to your fucking senses, the door is open." You know what I mean? Like in any way that I'm fucking angry, because like once I feel disrespected, my dad's going to come out. And I can like, I hold a lot of restraint, and I it takes a lot for me to finally get there where that side of me comes out. And I do like but I've come to also realize that like some people just can't handle the heat. Like the people that I have around me and have had around me for like the last 2 or 3 years, they get out of pocket too. And so, and not all of them, but like we're all big, strong personalities that can handle somebody being sassy or like, and because they're all strong willed and strong minded individuals, I feel really comfortable to clap back at them briefly. And like, I think something that I realized was like, if I don't feel comfortable enough to express my annoyance at you in that moment, then like we probably can't be friends. And that's not just because I'm like aggressive, but that's because like if I'm not allowed to tell you in a moment that like, hey, that was sort of weird what you just fucking said, or whatever, then it's gonna build up and eventually you're gonna see my fucking dad, bro. Like, and like I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be around people who make me feel like I need to be reserved in any way, that me feeling big emotions, because I feel big emotions in every context. Like, it's so fucking funny to me that people will like see me cry at live music and then be like, I don't understand how she could be that angry. Like, babe, the pendulum has to fucking swing some way. Like, let's be for real. You know, like, I don't know. It's been a weird week. Feeling a little fucking crazy. I've also been reading the sociology behind reality TV. So good. I'm going to do like, when I'm done reading it, we'll do book club. But it is so good. It's so fucking good so far. I started reading it yesterday, 100 pages in. Like we're at 86. Let me not exaggerate, but you know what I'm fucking talking about? You know what I'm fucking talking about? And I've been taking notes, bitch. I've been taking notes. Are we kidding? I've been having so much fun. Anyway, that's sort of all I have for today. I was gonna talk about my top 5 concert experiences. I don't know how all this came out, but we'll do that some other week. But I don't know. It's been rough. But I've really been making breakthroughs with it. You know, like it has to be rough, or else I'm not I'm not gonna grow. I'm not gonna learn. You know, I have to go through it. Um, the only way out is through. So that's how I'll be feeling too. You can't see Dante, but he is here. He's been laying with me this whole time. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me my hiatus last week. Um, I don't know, man. I just needed the break, you know? I feel really good now though. I know that I just talked about like emotional shit. But I feel really at terms with a lot of it, you know? I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure it out with my family. I owe myself a relationship to them, you know, like if not because like they're good parents, but because I deserve to have parents, period. You know, like I'm a decent kid. You know, I'm a decent daughter, I would say. You know? So that's the tea on that. All right. That's it. Love you guys very much. Drink your water, wash your face. I almost said drink your face, wash your water. So weird. Okay, love you. Bye.